everybody, it's me Maddie and welcome to a new YouTube video. As you know by the title of today's video, this video is a makeup tutorial slash makeup routine video. I'm going to walk you through the steps of my full glam routine that I do, which is basically just the makeup I wear anytime that I want to wear makeup. My first step in getting ready and doing my makeup actually isn't even makeup. I always do skincare before my makeup so that I have a good base to put it on top of. I think that doing skincare first just makes your skin a lot smoother for the makeup to lay on top of. I already did my morning skincare this morning, so before I do my makeup, I always add this. I got it from CVS. It's a hyaluronic pearl serum. It's supposed to hydrate and glow. I do use a matte setting spray right now, but the days that I want a little glow, this really pulls through if I don't use the matte setting spray. I just dripped on my arm. Can you see it? Let's just wipe that onto this paper towel right here. Now that is done, I like to go in with a primer. I prefer sticky primers if I really want it to last all day. My favorite primer is the e.l.f. Power Grip primer, but I also really like the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Glow Lock. This is kind of old, but I'm assuming they still make it. I feel like we need to embrace the glow, so we're gonna go with this as our primer today. Just apply that all over my face. I like to put a good amount on. You can never go wrong with a good amount of primer. Next, I go in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the satin finish. This is in the shade Fair Warm. I use this in one section at a time. I don't like to apply it all over my face because I feel that it dries down really fast. So first I'm going to spot conceal with it. That way by the time I'm done with the concealer and all the other places, it'll be fully dried down to apply my foundation on top. For spot concealing, I like to use a little concealer brush. That's what this is labeled as. It's just a little flat brush. I have a moderate breakout right now. This is definitely not the worst my skin has ever been. And I am not ashamed of my acne, so I'm not gonna tell you to ignore it because I really don't care. It's normal. People get acne and I'm not meant to be perfect. You know what Hannah Montana said? Nobody's perfect. I'm gonna do a little bit over here. You can see some of the red spots I have. And now we're gonna move on to concealing my under eyes, which I just used this applicator for. And I do one eye at a time to make sure it doesn't dry down. Now I'm just gonna take a small beauty blender. I like to use ones like this that have one flat side and are rounded out the rest so that I can get in all the spots that I conceal. I tend to go a little brighter with my concealer than I do with my foundation. I like to brighten up my under eyes a little bit before I put my foundation on top. I prefer using a beauty blender over a brush for my liquid products just because I find that using a brush makes it a little bit patchier. I know that brushes are the thing right now, so if you use a brush, then go ahead and use your brush. But if you're using a beauty blender, make sure you tap in the product and you don't rub. And just like that, we have brighter under eyes. Don't put your concealer away yet, just set it to the side. Now that that's all blended in, I'm going to lay my foundation on top. I use the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation in the shade Fair 30N. I'm just gonna put a pump of that on the back of my hand and then go in with a bigger beauty blender and dot it around my face and begin to blend it in. This foundation is lighter coverage, so if you like the skin appearance when you do your makeup still, I do recommend this one. It also does build very well, so if you do want to use it for more of a medium coverage, it does work for that. Going in with a little bit more, just so I can make sure my base is even. Don't forget to bring it down the neck. Okay, now that my foundation is all applied, I like to go in with my powder. I go between two powders. I use the CoverGirl Clean Professional Loose Powder in the shade Translucent Fair. I should have checked it before I dumped some of the loose powder into the lid, but I wasn't thinking about it. And I also use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. The label is like gone. But now I just take some of the loose powder in the lid with the same beauty blender from my concealer, and I go in to bake my under eyes. And with baking, you want to leave the powder like this. How I have a lot of powder, we're going to leave it there to sit for a while rather than just wiping it away. I also like to take some down the side of my nose, like that. And while that bakes, we're gonna go in with our contour. To contour, I use the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer in the shade Medium 105N. If you watched my other video where I was getting ready, you know that I got this in the shade as an accident, and it coincidentally just ended up being good for a contour shade. For your contour, I like to apply it along the top of my forehead right here where my hairline is and follow along the shape of my face. Bring it down towards your temples a bit. Then I like to take it along the bottom of my jawline, just slightly on either side. Then I kind of make a kissy face and apply in the hollows of my cheeks. And just like that. Then I also take it around the bottom of my nose, following it along the shape of my natural nose, because all I want to do is define my nose shape. I don't want to change the shape at all, I just want to define it. Okay, and then I just take it along either side of my nose, like I said, just to define my natural nose shape. And then I go in with this little beauty blender. I like the shape of it, especially for my nose contour. So now I'm just gonna blend them in the order that I applied them to my face, because that's the order they will dry down. And with my forehead, I am patting most of the product in and then pulling some of it just into the hairline to make it look more natural. After I blend in my jaw, just to clean it up a little bit, I like to go back in with my beauty blender from my foundation and blend under where I want the contour to end so it doesn't make the rest of my neck too dark. If your nose contour is a little messy, don't worry about it, because we are gonna go in and clean it up. With this contour on the side of my nose, I like to bring it up into the bottom of my eyebrow. Okay, now that all of that is blended in, we're going to take our concealer that we set aside and put just a little bit of it on the back of our hand. Then with the concealer brush from earlier, I'm going to take small amounts at a time and just cut the areas where I contoured at. Like, for example, I like brightening up the end of my nose as well as the middle of my nose. Spread the product out a little bit and then go back in with your beauty blender and dab it in. Now I like to go in under my eyebrows and cut them out, because I did drag that contour up a little bit and I want my brows to still look clean. So in order to do this, you're just gonna take your concealer brush and take a small amount of concealer and just apply it underneath the brow. I use this brush to blend it, and any extra product you can drag down to the lid to use to help prime for your eyeshadow. So as you can see, the bottom of this brow is cut out now, and this one is not. I do need to do my eyebrows, so don't look too hard. Now, for any of the girls out there who do their eyebrows, unfortunately, this video will not have a segment on me doing my eyebrows, because as you can see, I have relatively full eyebrows as is, and I love my eyebrows. I've never been one to fill them in, but you can always go watch an eyebrow tutorial or do your eyebrows how you like and then come back. And we're gonna do the same thing, but along the top and the middle of our eyebrows. I think it makes your makeup look more finished. You don't have to do this step, of course. It's more of a personal preference. Okay, perfect. Now that our eyebrows are cut out, this is what they're looking like more up close. After I finish cutting out my eyebrows, I'm going to wipe off the extra product from the back of my hand. And then I like to go in with setting spray before I move on to anything else, just to make sure that my base is set in place and my face isn't getting too dry. Now I'm gonna go in with that concealer beauty blender again and some more of my loose powder. And I like to go underneath my contour on my cheeks to make it look really sharp and clean. And then reapply along the side of my nose. I also like to bake in the spots that I added the concealer on my nose after contouring. Just like that. I know I look a little crazy, but it'll look good in the end. So while we let those places on our face bake, we're going to take this, which I believe is just an eyebrow brush, and I'm just going to brush through my brows before I go in and apply the gel. I like to brush them upwards first because when I apply the gel, all the hairs are separated, and I actually brush through my hairs upwards first with the gel to make sure I'm really getting the product in all of the hairs before I take them and put them in the shape that I want my eyebrows. So I'll show you more up close on this one. Just like that. Now my eyebrows are done. Now I'm gonna go in with my Revolution Ultra Contour palette. It looks like this. And I'm going to take a contour brush, which is just a small angled brush. I use the shade right here. Obviously, I just recently hit pan. You want to tap off any excess product. Then I like to start by pressing in and then blending it out. And I just go over the places where I originally put my contour in the cream. If you feel like your face is contoured enough with just the cream, you obviously don't have to go in with the powder. And vice versa, if you prefer powdered products, you don't have to go in with the cream first. Now that I'm done going over all of my face besides my nose, I'm going to go in with a large fluffy brush like this, dip back into the same color, and go over my contour on my nose with this brush. Perfect. Now that we're done contouring, which helped us wipe away our bake down here, see how it's nice and cut and sharp? Now I'm going to go in with blush. For my blush, I actually use an eyeshadow palette. It's called the Profusion Cosmetics Banging Pinks. This is what it looks like. It's really old. This is my blush brush. I like using the same type of brush as the contour brush. It's just a little bit more fluffy, and I like a super pink blush. So I use this shade right here called Innocent, this very light one. And then I just apply to the apples of my cheeks and go upwards where my contour goes, like this. And I like to dab it in. Also, make sure you're tapping off your extra product with your blush as well. I also like to take the blush and use it to wipe off the bake from the tip of my nose and make it a little pink and rosy looking, especially in the winter. It may not be cold where I live at the moment, but it'll make it look like my nose is a little cold. And I think it's just adorable having the cute little pink tip to the end of your nose. Now that we're done with our blush, it's looking good. Now I'm gonna go back in with that powder I've been setting my whole face with, I've been baking with, and a big fluffy brush just to powder over any places that have not had powder previously applied, or places I just feel need a little bit more setting to be a little bit more secure. And then we're just gonna brush off any extra powder from when we were baking. Okay, so now our base is pretty much finished. We just have highlighter left, but I like to leave highlighter towards the end just so it still looks bright when I'm leaving. Now I'm just gonna go in with my contour shade on the same brush from my nose and just use it in the crease of my eyes to just give them a little bit of something going on. We're almost completely done now, so I'm gonna go in and set my face one more time. That's devastating. Now for one of my other favorite parts, highlighter. I used the Revolution Highlighter Reloaded in Set the Tone. And for this, I just use a small, compact, pointed brush. I like to highlight the high points of my face. So the tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, the upper lip, along my cupid's bow, and then along the high points of my cheekbones. And you can go as light or heavy with the highlighter as you want. I love highlighter. I want it to be shining and blinding everyone I pass. Catch me as a granny one day with a blinding highlighter on and a full beat as I go to any family event, I'm sure. I also like to take the highlighter a little bit on my lower brow bone. I feel like that was a 2000s thing, but I learned it from my mom and I still feel like it looks good, especially on a day where you don't have much going on for your eyes. Now we're going to curl our lashes. So I like to place it along my lid and look up to make sure I don't have any of my bottom lashes. And then just press, 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 and release. And then I go a little bit further down on the root, just a few times gently, and boom. And now I go in with my Mega Length Mascara by Wet n Wild. Super old, don't know if they even sell this anymore. If they do, may not even look like this or be the same formula, but I love it. And then on days where I have a full face on like this, I like to go in and curl again. Curl both sides. And then I take the Essence Get Big Lashes Triple Black Mascara and I go over my outer top lashes to give them some more volume, make them more dramatic. Like, look at the difference, the drama over here. Because I like the appearance of, with falsies, the thicker outer corner and the thinner inner corner, so I try to kind of replicate that with my own eyelashes. And then you may not be able to see, but behind the lashes over here, there's a bit of mascara on each of my lids, and I'm just gonna take a Q-tip, wet it, and then remove it. And you have to be very gentle. You don't want to hit your lashes while doing this, just like that. For the final step lately, I've just been using this Mango and Lime Nourishing Lip Oil by Kate London, and I've been loving this. And there is our final makeup look. I am going to take off this headband, and I'm actually going to take my hair out because I wasn't planning on wearing it like this all day anyways. All right, so here is our final look. Obviously I love it. I do it every single time I wear makeup. I do it the exact same way. If you use this tutorial, let me know in the comments. I hope this tutorial helped you at least a little bit, or that you enjoyed watching it while you got ready and did your own makeup routine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments any other types of videos that you want to see specifically, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.